Welcome to the first ever broadcast of the No State Project here on Wednesday. I am sorry for the technical problem that we're having. I have an old operating system, so I can't use the YouTube one, but I appreciate everyone tuning in here. Welcome to the first ever broadcast of the No State Project here on Wednesday.
That's
I am
not
sorry
good.
for the technical problem that we're having. I have an old operating system, so I can't use the YouTube one, but I appreciate everyone tuning in here.
I don't know why.
Welcome to the
that.
first ever broadcast.
Oh,
of the
it's
No State
looping
Project
back,
here
and
on
I have
Wednesday.
no idea
I'm
why.
sorry for the technical problem that we're having. I have an old operating system,
Damn
so
it.
I can't use the YouTube one, but I appreciate everyone tuning in here.
I don't know why.
Welcome to the first ever broadcast.
Oh,
of the
it's
No State
looping
Project
back.
here on
Ay,
Wednesday.
ay,
I'm
ay.
sorry for
Here
the
we go.
technical
First show.
I have an old operating system,
And-
so I can't use the YouTube one.
Damn it.
In here. I don't know why. Welcome to the first ever broadcast.
Oh, it's
looping back.
Ay, ay, ay. Here we go. First show. I think, I don't know. Are we actually going to be able to do this? Damn it. I'm stuck in a continuous loop.
Oh, it's looping back.
Ay, ay, ay. Here we go. First show. I think, I don't know. Are we actually going to be able to do this? Damn it. I'm stuck in a continuous loop. I don't know what to do.
Here we go. First show.
I think, I don't know.
Are we actually going to be able to do this?
What a disaster.
I'm stuck in a continuous loop.
I don't know what to do.
Here we go. First show. I think, I don't know. Are we actually going to be able to do this?
What a disaster.
I'm stuck in a continuous loop.
I don't know what to do.
Here we go. First show. I think, I don't know. Are we actually going to be able to do this?
What a disaster.
I'm stuck in a continuous loop.
I don't know what to do.
First show. I think, I don't know. Are we actually going to be able to do this?
What a disaster.
I'm stuck in a continuous loop.
I don't know what to do.
What a disaster.
Wow, this is bad. Well, maybe that did it. Maybe I took care of that, so maybe that was the problem. I think that was probably on my end. I probably shouldn't have had the stream up, but I think we're doing okay now. We'll just have to maybe edit that part out. But welcome to the No State Project live here on Ustream. There's no commercials. I think we took care of that little problem there. And because it's on Ustream, I do apologize. We are stuck right now with 360 because it's a free account, and until I update my operating system on and we're stuck at 360. But hey, it's not about looking at me. I mean, that's not how interesting could that be? But it's just it does facilitate the free exchange of ideas here. We can still take the calls and communicate with that. We will have it posted on YouTube. I'll have it posted also at markstevens.net. And wow. Okay. That was, yeah, I'm glad that I was able to figure out what the hell was going on there. And I was going through, before I get to the calls, I was going through some videos that I had done with somebody, and we get the typical trolls, Red Squid and Foreign Source, and the same stupid things, always insisting that I've never presented any evidence that the motion to dismiss was granted. And that is that you can discuss why the motion was granted, but to come out and say that the motion has never been granted by a judge, we have the pendant, the ink signatures up there. They're just lying trolls. And for people who go to videos like mine where they can't stand them, and that I'm just a con man and whatnot, why spend so much time doing YouTube comments? I'm doing a live broadcast.
I do a live broadcast every Saturday from 4 to 7 Eastern Standard Time. Confront me in real time. And that's the clue that you're dealing with just a troll. Because they will not confront me here live in real time and present a flaw in the logic or where I've gotten my facts wrong. And I do invite people to do that. I invited the troll earlier. I doubt that they're going to call, because if they had evidence, if they had logic, they would just present it. They just wouldn't spend all friggin' day trolling videos like mine. I got to stop hitting the table there. Hey, I was supposed to do some music. I think I might be able to. Yeah, well, I missed the opportunity for a bumper because we had some technical issue. But I did wanted to start off with this. Oh, here's the best part. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. It's actually one of my favorite CDs. My good friend Chris Case, a blues legend, that's him singing, blues legend in Key West. And actually the one taking the lead there was Caffeine Carl Wagner. And you can go to YouTube, you can check out both of them. Both, as you heard, you heard the Carl do the intro there to the Elmore James song. Must have done somebody wrong. Carl is the man. But Chris is no slouch. Chris is actually one of my favorite guitar players. So they mesh together pretty damn well. Really did enjoy the double Bucci stuff. I wish there was more, but hey, what can you do? So let's get to the first call. I thought we were going to have a whole lot more calls. We'll see. But we do have only an hour. Commercial free, but still only an hour. And we will have this up on markstevens.net. I'll get it up onto my YouTube channel, which is No State Project. So let's, hopefully we don't have any more tech issues. We're going to find out here. I did check this out before, but I didn't do the stuff. I didn't realize I was going to loop back. If there's something for the critics to make fun of me about, that I'm an idiot, say that there's your grounds. You can say, well, he didn't realize it was going to loop, and it took him like 2 minutes to figure it out. But hey, that happens. We have area code 518. You're live on the first Wednesday broadcast of the No State Project. What's your name? Where you calling from? Or it looks like New York. Are we going to have a problem with the call line?
Hello?
There you go. Hey, you're live on the show. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Joseph Dombrowski. I live in upstate New York, Albany area.
New York. I'm sorry. What was your name again?
Joseph Dombrowski.
Oh, okay. We don't need the whole name. So for those calling in, we just need a first name. So, Joseph, what do you have for us today here on this momentous occasion?
I have a bit of an interesting story. I've been in court now for the last 7 months in Skodak Town Court. I was pulled over in 2015, and I got a ticket for having a suspended license, or I got a ticket for getting into an accident, and I got a ticket for a non-driver's license in the third.
Did you? Okay. Did you cause the accident?
Some woman pulled in front of me, and I ended up hitting her, and it was her fault, and it was deemed her fault, and her insurance paid for everything. So, I mean, I didn't have to go to court for that, but they just ended up giving me a ticket for having not having a license.
Oh, whoa, what an awful thing. How did New York survive this reign of carnage and bloodshed that, he didn't pay a tax? Hey. Okay. So
I didn't go to court for that. I just mailed them a letter within 72 hours, and they ended up just suspending my license. And I went until about May of 2016 before having another incident. And I got pulled over again, and I was given 6 tickets.
Wow.
Yeah, 6 tickets. This is in Skodak. And then
Well,
I got aggravated unlicensed. I got unlicensed operator. I got forged inspection sticker,
oh,
no inspection sticker. Yeah. So
oh.
I got no directional and no stop at a stop sign.
Well, let
So
me ask you before we get into what happened at the second incident. What was
okay.
in that letter that you sent to them?
Well, I wasn't quite sure about the whole Socratic method at the time. This was in 2015, a year ago. I sent them a letter stating that I'm a private person, not a public person, that I wanted an in-chambers meeting with a judge, basically.
Oh, but did you put any,
And
other than what you just said, did you put any other legal claims or legal arguments?
no, well, I mentioned that I wasn't driving the day of the incident, that I have a fundamentally protected right to travel and things of that nature.
Yeah, well, you do understand now
Well, I
that
mean,
even if there was merit to that, which there isn't,
uh,
that they don't care.
well, I got that. That was last year. So then I got the 6 tickets. I had to go to court. When I went to court, I was told that I had to go back to Colony, where I'd gotten my license suspended in the first place, and settle before I could proceed with the 6 tickets in Skodak. So they postponed my arraignment for 2 weeks. I'd gotten pulled over a week after I'd gotten the 6 tickets. I'd gotten 2 more tickets in the same town.
Holy
So,
crap!
right. You ready for this one? So, the week after I got postponed for the 6 tickets, I had to return for my two other tickets that I got after the 6 tickets. And when I went back this time, the prosecution wasn't there, and they had no idea who I was. So they tried proceeding with the tickets anyways.
But was the cop there?
So no one was there. It was just the judge.
So, oh, so
So
the witness isn't
I
there.
went with it.
Yeah, the witness isn't there, and they want to proceed anyway.
Yep.
Yeah,
Much.
yeah. I
It's like
recall
revolving
some
door.
scumbag. Well, I'll take that back. I recall some lawyer in Scottsdale, John Preston of the Scottsdale Justice Court, actually saying this after impeaching the police officer and actually striking his testimony, refusing to throw the ticket out, saying, and I quote, "I don't need this cop's testimony to find you guilty." Like,
Really.
oh,
I love how they think they can just do whatever they want. And I mean, they can if no one speaks up, usually, and then no one usually fights, so.
well, they can do whatever
Get away
they
with it.
want. They can, just like
Right.
we can. The difference is there are certain principles and rules that we learn by the time we're 5 that it is wrong to use aggression. It's wrong to to lie and mislead people to get the object that you're looking for. And so those things are wrong. And but those rules don't apply to people who call themselves government. You see that played out all the time. I just had someone turn around and reject a claim on a video that someone left a comment on, someone that I know, and the troll says, he says, your claim conflicts with the objective evidence. I said, oh, wait a minute. Who the hell do you think? Because you don't think that any of your claims politically have to conform to objective evidence. You're the first one, the biggest cheerleading troll on my videos, claiming that it's law. It doesn't require evidence. But if I make a claim, if somebody else makes a claim, no, you've got to have proof. Bafungo with your double standard, these people. And that's why I can invite these people on, and they never confront me in real time. They have all these, I don't trust Marc. It's got to be a neutral. It's got to be a neutral show. It's a live broadcast. What?
Yeah, they never have any answers.
They never have it. So, man, you've been
Never.
busy with these people. Holy crap!
It's been quite stressful. It's getting somewhere though, so that's why I'm giving you a buzz.
Okay, okay, all right. So where does it stand now?
I got the 6 tickets, and then I had to return for the 2 more tickets, and the prosecution wasn't there. So I hit the judge with, what has the prosecution entered in as evidence of proof of jurisdiction, and he tried, saying that the ticket was the proof, and I said, is that the only form of proof? And
that's all. When did this happen,
I got to the point where he literally, the prosecution wasn't there, and he was saying things like, it's my assumption that, jurisdiction hasn't been established. And he literally, they had a bailiff come over. I didn't get a chance to record this one. I wish I could have. But a bailiff came over and literally told me to shut up. And
Wow.
the judge was going to proceed no matter what.
Nice
And
guy.
the judge literally shook his finger at me and was like, we're going to contact you for a court date, and pretty much told me to get out.
All right, I got to address the issue of the judge saying the ticket. So what you need to do, what everybody needs to do, when they say something like that, they're being very vague. And remember, our job is to ask questions and bring out that they are being vague, and you want them to be very, very specific. And if there's one thing lawyers hate to do, and politicians, they hate being specific. They hate it because they don't want their own words to be read back to them. And they want to be able to have plausible deniability. That's not what I meant. So when they say something like that, you have to object. Objection. What on this ticket leads you to believe it's evidence proving your Constitution applies to me just because I'm physically in New York?
Right.
And that, it's not going to get answered directly because there's not a damn thing on the ticket but an allegation. Yes, we have your physical location. We get that. Stop your proof by assertion crap. Stop repeating the argument. We know you think if I'm physically in New York, your laws and your rules apply. Do you have any proof that that's true? Just merely restating it doesn't prove anything. It's just another logic. It's two logical fallacies. It's proof by assertion and it's circular logic or begging the question. You're assuming that your position is true. I mean, how many successful arguments can you show that have one premise and then a conclusion? If X, then Y.
Right.
Okay. All right. And especially when you're talking about opinions here, where it's just an opinion of a cop, which is what we're talking about here. The prosecution is taking these arguments or these claims from the police officer, and he has to go to court and prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they're true.
Right.
Where's the proof? So again, you never take anything that they say at face value. Just assume they're lying and ask your questions using your Socratic method. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. If he says it's on the ticket, where? What on this ticket? And then watch him. Well, in your situation, he probably would have just called the bailiff again.
Right.
Oh, gosh, we got one who can see. So
I believe I asked him to satisfy the element of jurisdiction, and he didn't like that either. So.
Yes, and I want to point out that it's not just an element of jurisdiction, it's an essential element of the charge. And no, they don't have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt initially, but they have to have a prima facie case. And a prima facie case is not satisfied by quoting statutes. I can quote a statute. The prosecution is guilty of molesting children. And they could say, holy crap, where's your proof? I don't need proof. The statute says it's illegal to have sex with minors. You're guilty. That's what the law says. But you have to have proof. You don't need proof, and neither do I. I mean, you're just exposing a double standard, of course. So what happens after that? I mean, did you file a motion to dismiss and discovery request with these people?
Well, after he kicked me out of the courtroom, I went. He told me he was going to contact me for a trial date. I went back the next week on my return date, and I wasn't on the calendar, and I went anyways. Okay. And the prosecution was finally there, and he actually ended up giving me the floor. So I ended up asking her a bunch of questions, and she ended up giving me the opportunity to enter in motions. That was pretty much my last. And I didn't really understand everything. I only got onto the Socratic method a week before.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So I've been studying a lot more lately, but I didn't really understand everything really. I just kind of had a broad, understanding of it all.
I understand. Have you been doing role-playing in the No State Project Skype chat?
No, I haven't really gotten a chance to do that. That's why I'm calling. I mean, I need to learn.
Joseph.
I need to learn more.
And everyone else.
I want.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, I guess there's a slight delay here.
you got to do the role playing. It's very important that you spar with real people and get used to interacting with others when you're doing this. It's going to help you think on your feet, and when you go in, there's really nothing should surprise you. Everything that they say is a lie, and you want them to verify what they're saying. If they're saying something like, your motion's denied because none of this applies here, you don't accept that. You can say, objection, doesn't the burden of proof on the prosecution, does that apply here? Well, of course it does. Then how the hell can you say the motion does, nothing in the motion applies? All I'm trying to do is say the prosecution hasn't met their burden of proof. Are you saying that this is not an adversarial proceeding? No, I'm not saying that at all. Then how can you say that point number 5 is inapplicable here when it has to do with this being an adversarial proceeding, and according to the Supreme Court, you don't have a real adversary against me? So you're always asking questions for them to verify their position and to clarify it so that you can attack it by asking a further question. For those just listening and new to this, the motion to dismiss is based on fundamentally there's a fundamental flaw with the complaint. That the prosecution has not submitted sufficient evidence. The only way to overcome that is to provide the evidence or lay it out. Just saying it doesn't apply here is not a legal defense, as we all know from the critics. Because you could just turn around and say, none of it applies. Are they gonna accept that crap from you?
Absolutely not.
Well, then you have a double standard. You just exposed that it's not a fair system. It's rigged against you. The prosecution doesn't need evidence. You do. That's fundamentally unfair. So definitely get into the role playing. You need to go. Frank Rizzo 3 is directly to me. It's my username, which you can contact me here on this live broadcast. And I am me first. I mean, it is a live broadcast. So you can also go to markstevens.net under upcoming events. There is a link directly to the Skype chat. So you definitely need to do that. So
I definitely will. I'll check it out.
When's your next court date?
Well, what ended up happening is a buddy of mine put motions in for me, 12 pages of motions, because I didn't even understand the whole motion thing yet. So they ended up trying to set me up for a trial jury, a trial by jury, basically. Wow. And they ended up dropping the crimes that I had down to regular tickets. So now I just have a regular bench trial.
Well, sure.
And I remember you saying on one of your videos that you've always been able to make the cop's testimony inadmissible. So that's what I was trying to be able to accomplish when I go to court. So I have to go to court the 19th of December at 1 o'clock.
All right, so you have time to prep. And let me just give out, there's a very easy way. You want to do your Brady material because the Brady material is still required even when no pretrial discovery is allowed. They always have to comply with Brady. And you want the name of the witness with personal first-hand knowledge that the Constitution and Code apply to you just because you're physically in New York, because that's what he's testifying to. He's saying that I saw you in New York, the Constitution laws apply, and I think you violated it. He has that personal first-hand knowledge of that. They'll ignore you, they'll put him on the stand anyway, and you're going to get them to contradict themselves by asking 2 simple questions. And that is very simply, you ask the police officer what you already know, and he probably already testified to this. You're just going to be more specific in your question. And you always ask leading questions, basically yes or no questions, in a cross-examination. So you put what you want him to respond to in the question. So the difference is you can say a non-leading question, which is allowed on direct, and you can only ask non-leading questions on direct. So a non-leading question would be, what did you do when you got out of the car? That's a because you're not filling in. A leading question would be, when you got out of the car, did you go to the house or did you go to the pool? So you're giving him the information that you're looking for. So make sure that you're doing a cross. It's always a leading question. And so the 2 questions are this. Mr. Police Officer, did you determine on your own that just because I was physically in New York that your Constitution and laws apply to me? And he'll say yes, because that's exactly what he did.
Okay.
So then you just have to follow up with, oh, that's right. Do you have any proof whatsoever that just because I'm physically in New York, your Constitution applies to me? That will get the prosecutor out of his chair, yelling, objection, calls for legal conclusion, a witness is not qualified to testify, or it's outside the scope of his testimony, or he'll make some stupid thing. He's only here to testify to the facts. Like,
Okay.
I just asked him the facts that his opinion was based on. You just sit down. But this is what they do, and they typically get away with that. What he's doing is impeaching his own witness. He's saying the witness is not qualified. So you want to maybe ask him to clarify after the objection is sustained. Hey, objection, let me see if I understand exactly what just happened over here. Did you just say this police officer is not qualified to determine that the laws apply to me and that I violated them? He can't make that determination on his own.
All right.
Which is what they did. So,
Exactly.
what I think I usually on the live broadcast on Saturdays we have a whole lot more time. I only have an hour here, so I've already got a full line of calls, which I really appreciate. That's really great for the first live show. So what I got to do is I'm going to have to go move on, but do the role playing, get the motion to dismiss that I do, or at least fashion it after that, because there's a part of it in the book, Government Indicted, and just attack the prosecution's claims. You want the facts that his claims are based on, and you want the witness with personal first-hand knowledge that the Constitution and Code apply because you're physically in New York. Okay, and then get to role playing.
Yes. I will, definitely. And thank you so much for taking my call.
I appreciate it. That was Joseph in New York, so we will look for him in the No State Project Skype chat on Skype. Yeah, on Skype. And you can also you can always go to markstevens.net and you can get that up under upcoming events. See, we have another new caller. We have area code 201. You're live on the No State Project. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, how you doing? My name is Jose Paz. I'm from Teaneck, New Jersey.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Hello, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I said you said you were from New Jersey. I said I'm sorry to hear that. What do you have for us today?
Yeah. You can hear me?
I can hear you. You're loud and clear.
All right. Sorry. All right. So what happened was I bought your motion for dismissal and the Brady request, right?
Right.
So I sent that in, and then I just came from court, and then the judge said that it's denied. The motion was denied because driving in New Jersey is a privilege and not a right.
What the hell did that have to do with the motion to dismiss?
Yeah. I don't know.
Did you object and ask him?
Nah, I didn't at all. I should have, but
Oh man, come on.
I'm
Jose.
like,
Did you do role playing before you went to court today?
nah, not at all.
Nah, you see, you see what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
everybody. You have to do that because for those listening, when they say something like that, technically what that is it's non-responsive and it's a non sequitur. Whether driving is a privilege or a right is completely irrelevant. It wasn't in the motion. The motion to dismiss, the motion to dismiss is not based on the right to travel. No argument is made that I'm traveling as a matter of right as opposed to privilege. So the judge didn't even read the motion. And if you read the motion, then he's really being offensive and he's really being dishonest. So what else happened?
I don't know what you think I should do now, because that shit, I'm confused, because I know that's not a privilege, that's a right.
No.
Like, that has nothing to do with anything.
Jose, man, you see, you gotta shift your focus. We don't give a damn about legal arguments and legal interpretations, like you're saying. It's not a right. It's a privilege. It's a privilege. You want to focus strictly on the evidence that the prosecution relies on and their witnesses with personal knowledge.
Yeah.
Your legal opinions, like mine, okay, nobody cares. No one gives a damn. If I come out here and give my interpretation of the law, no one gives a damn. It's even doubly true in court. So you need to keep the burden of proof on the prosecution. If the prosecution is alleging, hey, the guy's here physically in Jersey over here, you know what I'm saying? The laws apply to him because he's physically here. That's the argument. That's the claim. Attack that. You want to know if the police officer has personal firsthand knowledge that the Constitution applies to you because you're physically in Jersey. There isn't any such evidence. Your whole focus should be on challenging the prosecution's claims and and asking for the evidence and the witness that he relies on, that all this is based on. So what I would suggest is doing the motion to dismiss and the Brady request and getting into the No State Project Skype chat.
Yeah.
And start role-playing and going over these issues. Learn your objections, which is really just learn your logical fallacies. There's not that many. Most of what you're looking at is the fact that they're not being responsive. Just like this guy said. What he said was not responsive. You should say, objection, not responsive. Did you read the text of the motion? Which he didn't. So what did he do? Did he set this matter for, did he set it for trial?
Yeah, he set it for trial.
What day? Do you know?
No, not yet. I should get a mail soon. I don't know.
All right. Well, you probably have a few weeks at least to prep for this. So.
Yeah. But what should I do? Should I resend the motion for dismissal and the Brady request?
Well, no, you don't have to resend the Brady request, but you have to reformat the motion to dismiss and title it "Motion for Reconsideration," and point out that the judge did not deny the motion on anything that was in the motion. He denied somebody else's motion. It wasn't yours. It could have been anybody else's motion. The only thing we're certain about is it wasn't yours, because that's not in there.
Yeah.
So point out that it was non-responsive and arbitrary. The only way to legitimately overcome the motion is to do what no one has been able to do yet, and that is provide the evidence that's not there. Okay? When we go after when credit card companies, when we're defending against that crap, they actually argue, and you can see the documents at markstevens.net with Armando's situation. They actually argued they don't have to provide any evidence at the pleading stage, which is not true, but they say it anyway. So I'd file as a motion for reconsideration. I'd contact the prosecutor to see what the name of the witness, who his witness is with personal firsthand knowledge. And
because I went to the prosecutor first, and he said, "Oh yeah, he's gonna deny it." I was like,
"Okay,
based off what?" Like, "Oh, he's just gonna deny it." He didn't give me no explanation or anything.
So you could ask. So you're confident that the judge is just going to arbitrarily deny it without any legitimate grounds?
Yeah.
Well, question him on that. So if you get another opportunity to speak with him, you want to use the discovery request as a basis. Do you have any relevant facts to prove that just because I'm physically here in New Jersey, that the Constitution applies to me? And start from there, because then you'll also need to have the name of a witness with personal firsthand knowledge of that. So he has to have two things. He's got to have the damn evidence, and he has to have a witness with personal knowledge of that. So that's what. So do the role playing, so that when you do speak with him again, and you're gonna probably have to go back to court, you're prepped to effectively defend against this and be able to object properly and really hold the prosecutor's feet to the fire. When you get done with the prosecution, I've said this a million times, when you get done, the prosecution should feel like he just got the living hell beaten out of him or her. That it's just a constant, where's the proof? Where's the proof? Where's the proof? I will plead guilty now. Do you have specific facts that prove your Constitution applies to me just because I'm physically here? No, they don't have it. So that's what I would do. You got to get ready by prepping. Do the role playing.
To be honest, I thought he totally disregarded the motion. I was shocked, actually. I was really
But Jose, that shouldn't shock you. That's they and for those new to this, they cannot, like the critics here on YouTube or whatnot, or wherever it happens to be, their own website. The critics will never address the facts. All they can do is say I'm an idiot, say that evidence is not required because, oh, thou Odin, who give us the law, the sake, ridiculous.
Yeah.
They can't produce any facts, so they have to make up these stories. Oh, law is somehow different. It doesn't require evidence. or say stupid things like, you see all those MFs in prison, those 2 million people, there's your friggin' proof, tough guy. There's your proof that our laws apply. No, it's just proof that you're a crook.
That's crazy, yo.
It is. You have to. Not that it will necessarily change, but it makes it more difficult for them to steamroll you if you're objecting. Never interrupt. I always say that. You have to say your objection. You have to demand. You have to say, where is the proof? If he's saying that the ticket is the proof, what on this ticket, like we were just talking with Joe in New York, okay? What on this ticket is evidence proving your Constitution applies to me? Get specific. So keep this in mind, Jose, when you're practicing and you're doing this. Every damn thing that they say is going to be non-responsive. Everything. And everything they say is going to be a lie. You have to just assume it's going to be a lie. And you have to ask your who, what, where, when, why, and how questions. You have to ask your clarifying questions when they're being vague. Let me see if I understand you correctly here, tough guy. You're saying the motion is denied because driving is a privilege, not a right. Okay, where in my motion did I raise that argument? Always keep.
It's not even the charges aren't even. It's not even about the driving. I have like 2 tickets on driving. The whole charge is about Bud. So I was just like, that made no sense.
Yeah, the guy clearly did not read the motion. He had you confused with somebody else. So we got to move on. What I would say is motion. Restyle the motion to dismiss as motion to reconsider, and just add a section that the judge obviously didn't read the motion because he denied it on grounds that weren't raised.
Okay.
All right, and get with us at Frank Rizzo 3 on the No State Project Skype chat, and you can start doing your role playing as soon as possible.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. That was Jose in New Jersey. How come that didn't take? Jose in New Jersey. We will save that. We are killing it in the Northeast here. I can just drop the whole Arizona thing and talk like my normal self. He's been on the show before. We've got Rick.
$4. Thanks, I'll be a little more than that.
And we got Rick from Massachusetts. Hey, Rick. Rick.
Hey, how's it going, sir? How are you, sir? Oh, my God, man, you're so awesome. Hey, just glad to speak to you, man. It's just an honor. Second time speaking to you.
Well, I appreciate that, but it's just me. So before...
Yeah, man, I know.
We don't have that much time because we have other callers, so I got to get right to the meat of this. So what's going on there, my friend?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we spoke last time. I actually went to address my situation at the courthouse. Walking away, because I don't want people knowing my business. But yeah, I actually went to the courthouse today, and I addressed the motions. And these people, you would not even believe what happened. It looked like a circus. I mean, first of all, I had a court-appointed attorney, and this guy, he was just, basically the entire courthouse was just like a circus. I mean, the judge was fumbling papers. Everybody was talking among themselves. My attorney did not, he brought me aside. I mean, this guy was not even speaking to me at any point during this whole thing. I mean, I kept emailing him, this and that. They really just want to turn you into the system. It's an OUI, which is basically a DUI. I did not refuse to breathalyze. It's all on video. It's all on audio. They have me, the police officer falsified the report saying that I refused. But then again, it's all on video and audio. I never refused. I rebutted that. I never even had a drink. It's craziest scenario, but this is what these people do. It's just an atrocity to other people.
But if you've got an attorney and he's not standby, then you can't defend yourself. You're pretty much at his mercy. He's not going to challenge the foundation of the prosecution's case because he probably either thinks that they don't have to prove the foundation of the case, or he's a baby. I don't want to get the judge mad. So either way, you are the loser. You're going to lose on that. He's walking away with your money. He's got a secure career. Because he hasn't pissed off the judge, and the judge knows that he'll play ball and stay in line. Just remember, the judge is Negan, and your attorney is
It's unbelievable.
kind of Rick.
Yeah, it's really unbelievable. It's really unbelievable because it seems like it's almost as if they're, meeting out for coffee at the end of the court date, or talking about themselves and just fixing everything so that it's all a huge show to portray the image of I don't know, a judicial proceeding that is justifiable or that is ethically correct. It's just
Sure,
bullshit,
but
really.
so has the attorney done
So
any
listen,
challenge?
I
Well, let me finish. Has the attorney challenged the foundation of the prosecution's case?
He does not want to challenge anything. This guy does not want to challenge. In fact, he told me, listen, I can't make these arguments. The motions that I would submit is just to omit evidence and this and that. And he wants to play by some fictional rules. And it seems like they're constrained to really tackle the foundation of the entire corruption that's ongoing.
But
these thoughts don't even apply to me. I mean,
but Rick, the thing is, I recommend that we do use their rules against them. The thing is, there is no logical reason why the attorneys cannot make the same challenge. It is the foundation of the prosecution's case. They don't lie about it. They will tell you the foundation of the case is you're physically here, the laws apply, end of discussion. They just don't want to challenge it.
Of course.
So the rules, but the rules are very clear. The prosecution has the burden of proof on jurisdiction. That's a no-brainer. The rules require them to prove that. They're going against the rule by not actually challenging that. Their job is to, as officers of the court, is to zealously defend their client, to ensure that they get a fair trial. Now, a fair trial has to include challenging every element of the charge. And the foundation of the charge and jurisdiction is the same thing. It's the claim that if you're physically in Massachusetts, the laws apply to you. That is the foundation. You cannot get a fair hearing unless that is challenged. And if someone disagrees, we have 4 hours of live broadcasting now here on the No State Project. This is all me. I'm not even going through the LRN network right now. It's just me and a mixing board. Call in and show me your evidence. Show me where I'm getting an error in the logic. Tell me why the Constitution and the applicability of the Constitution would not be the foundation of their claim and not even be relevant to proving their claim. And someone please explain to me how the hell can you prove a law or a rule was violated without first proving that it applies?
Of course.
But all people could do, the few critics, there's only a handful, all they can do is pigpile on me that I'm an idiot for even suggesting that an argument should be supported by evidence and a rational basis.
You know what though? They put it. It's an orchestrated show. And everybody's against you. And yeah, I'm gonna. Believe me, I'm going to study these questions, and I'm going to study everything to a T. I feel pretty prepared, but it's not nearly as prepared as I will be when said time comes. Now, I got all these motions. So first of all, they didn't want to accept my motions.
They can't.
They rejected even. Yeah, the Brady. Actually, I just filed the discovery motions. It's right at the very beginning of the case. I filed the discovery motions with Brady
Rick,
Act.
Rick, you have to understand, and this is for everyone listening. When you have an attorney, they have a legal excuse not to listen to you or hear your motions. The prosecutor can't even accept the motion directly from you. He could be disbarred. He cannot have any direct communication with you unless you're on cross-examination.
Oh, but you know what actually, what took place? I mean, I made the whole courtroom it was just ridiculous. I pretty much had the spotlight, and I said, no, I want these motions submitted. So what ended up happening was my attorney, the assigned attorney, because I'm just going to school for engineering, and I'm not gainfully employed at the moment. I've had a career in aviation, whatnot, but I'm currently going to school for engineering, so I'm not gainfully employed. So these people assigned me a judge, and what ended up happening was my attorney had to resign, and I actually said, hey, how can I have a fair trial if I don't have formal training in these proceedings? So I got them to assign me the same lawyer, because I did not let him get off the hook. They wanted to assign me some guy that just looked like completely, I don't know, dysfunctional. But basically, I got the same lawyer to take my case, just aiding me. So I'm representing myself. I'm going to represent myself with legal aid, with this attorney, who I'm going to batter him with some motions or whatnot. And I'm actually going to do the whole questioning for the police officers. And I'm sure I can utilize them at some point, but I'm definitely going to beat the shit out of this police officer with all these lines of questions, which, by the way, I got from you. They're amazing. They're pretty awesome. I can kind of twist the logic around. I still have to call in and get live with one of you guys that really know their shit and have been through this with previous experience. So I definitely will do that. But yeah, these questions are pretty much on point. The line of questionings are on point. And I will definitely follow up with motions for dismissal and basically follow up with.
We'll get the motion to dismiss in. Rick, get the motion to dismiss in now. Now that you can do that, because the attorneys just stand by, get the motion to dismiss in now. And then start prepping.
They have not had a chance to review the motions that I submitted for discovery.
Well, that's a separate issue. It's a request for discovery. It's not a motion. The prosecution is required to give you that. You shouldn't even have to request it. But the Brady request, yeah, you have to make that pretty crystal clear so that you can show a violation later. The motion to dismiss should be filed now. I would get that filed as soon as possible and start prepping so that if you do have to go to court again, which you probably will, you'll be able to stand on the motion. And when I say that, I don't mean you're arguing the motion. So if they say to you, do you have anything else to add? You say, yeah. Does the prosecution have the evidence to prove the Constitution and laws apply to me because I'm physically in Massachusetts? Does he have that in the court right now to overcome the motion? Yes or no? That's what I want the prosecutor to say. I'll reserve whatever time if that's what you're doing. I want to hear from him right now if he's got the evidence. Because if he doesn't have the evidence in the court right now, the motion should be granted.
Absolutely.
You do not have to.
That would be such an easy case.
You don't have to. It's not going to be easy. Please, that's don't kid yourself. It's not going to be easy. But you do not have to.
Technicality, if they don't follow up with their responsibility to repute with whatever evidence they have, I mean, the case is pretty much over.
It should be. You're talking about the way it should, the way it's supposed to work with how it's the theoretical and the practical. And so don't conflate the two like they do. There's a world of difference between the practical and the theoretical. Theoretically, they should have dismissed it already because the prosecution hasn't submitted sufficient evidence. But practically, they didn't do that. So it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be easier for you to show and to get them to expose themselves and impeach their own witnesses if you're on point. So it's not that you have to go in and argue the motion. You're there simply to make sure that the judge is holding that attorney to his burden. So that you're just repeating the same thing, basically. Objection, yes or no? Does he have the evidence to overcome the motion? Yes or no?
Of course.
That's the key issue. The key issue is always, where is the evidence? It's just like that prosecutor who came on my forum insisting, just because you don't think that states exist and citizens exist doesn't mean that they don't. That's true. But I'm not basing it off of that belief. So you present the evidence. Since you believe that they do exist, show me the evidence of reciprocal obligations of allegiance and protection. Show me the proof. And nothing. So all you're doing is the same thing. I want the proof. Show me the proof. Give me the proof.
So objection. I will stay in that stand objecting until I have proof, man. I mean, honestly.
Give me the proof.
It seems pretty logical.
Yeah, and we have to end on this.
Remember, we are still live every Saturday from 4 to 7 Eastern Standard Time on LRN.FM. You have to keep... I just lost my
I'm
train.
definitely going to hit this up, Mark.
Well, you definitely have to do that.
Go through the questions.
You definitely have to do that. But I lost my train of thought there. But it's all keeping them on. It was. If they are going to try to get around the prosecutor's lack of evidence, then you say, "Hey, objection! I'm willing to plead guilty right now." And don't wait for an answer or a response. Go right into the questioning. I will plead guilty right now. Does the prosecution have sufficient evidence to prove the Constitution and Code apply to me because I'm physically in Massachusetts? And then wait. Between us, it's like, dude, let's rock and roll. Let's do this. Do you have the evidence? I'll plead guilty. Because the best they're going to do is say, I don't have to.
That's basically just putting them on the spot. I'm definitely not going to talk to a lawyer about this because they're just going to be like, you know what, they're going to be back and forth telling their buddies, their prosecutors and whatnot. They just work with each other, man. It's just a fucked up system. I mean, honestly.
We're not on the network, but we still want to watch the language, tough guy.
Yeah, I know, absolutely, sir. I apologize. And you know what? There's no corpus delicta. I mean, there's absolutely nothing that I did wrong to anyone, dude. I was not even drinking. I did not harm anyone. It's
I understand. But that's usually not where we prevail. But I appreciate the call. Definitely stay in touch.
Thanks so much, sir.
And get to doing the role playing. Okay, Rick?
Absolutely, definitely will, man. Thank you so much for what you do, man.
I appreciate that. You're welcome. All right, Rick in Massachusetts. We're still northeast here. We have time for one more call, which is cool. We have Shelby from Ohio. Welcome to the first live Wednesday broadcast of the No State Project. What do you got for us today? Shelby in Ohio.
Hey,
there he is.
Do you have evidence? Do you have evidence of that, Mark?
Do I have evidence? Evidence of what?
That I'm probably from Ohio.
Nope.
Hey, Terry Cass. Have you ever heard of Terry Cass in Chicago? Great guitar player.
What's his name?
Terry Cass. 1970s. He was in Chicago, the band Chicago.
Oh, I probably have heard him then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You have to check him out. But anyway, I wanted to ask you your opinion in how you see law seeing contracts. And this kind of relates to, you had a caller before, I think it was your first caller that was talking about he didn't have a license. And I was talking with a friend of mine about your philosophy on how you approach, the courts, and you asked to show the evidence. And they said that your license, that you sign your license.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that. Now, I kind of look at it as a contract, and I'm just going to tell you, I want to hear your opinion or how you see it with law, too. What do you think about with that? And it has to do with jurisdiction, too, I suppose. That would be an argument that, well, since you signed your license, now you have this jurisdiction. So I want to hear your thoughts.
So is it your position that the license proves the Constitution applies to me?
Well, no, I would say the license and the signature, some would argue that it would be evidence that you agree to these codes of the road. Maybe not the Constitution, but to these codes.
You do realize, and so, and I would always ask, you do realize that the driver's license is compulsory. You get it or you go to jail. Do you really believe that there's an agreement there?
Well, you know what? I thought about that too, and that was kind of it's violent. It's back when you really, if you get to the nuts and bolts, it's violent.
Yeah. So you could ask, did the law apply before I was compelled to get the license? Or did it only start to apply after? So what you're doing is you can, by asking these questions, you're removing or stripping the relevance of the license itself. Because you could ask them, if I didn't have the license and I just got in my car and drove around, you'd have no jurisdiction to arrest me? And they'll say, well, of course we do. So the license really isn't relevant to the issue of jurisdiction now, is it? It's just like with the name, right, Shelby? I mean, they could say the birth certificate and the name in all caps. You could be on the side of the street. They don't know who the hell you are. They don't care what your name is. Their determination of jurisdiction is based on one thing. You're physically in Ohio. Our laws apply. That's it. You don't even have to have a name. You could be one of these people who just never had a birth certificate, never got a name. You don't go by a name. You don't have a social security number. You don't have any of that. They still consider that if you're physically here, the laws apply. So if they want to say the driver's license, fine. Is this your position that the driver's license means that proves the Constitution was applicable? And then break it down from there. It's fairly simple. They like to use that a lot, and you have to object and point out, using the Socratic method, how stupid a position that really is.
Now, and that kind of brings me to another question. When you ask the courts, what are the elements, are you asking in a way without not saying it outright, that what are the elements that it took to get jurisdiction over me, like a contract, right? Because wouldn't there have to be like disclosure?
Well, they're not. The thing is, Shelby, they're not. You have to go and challenge what they're actually asserting. They're not asserting any claims that there's a contract. They are stating very clearly, if you're physically here, our laws apply. So that's why we attack that. And by attack, I mean questioning.
Okay, let me ask you this. How would they get jurisdiction? How would somebody get jurisdiction then? Define that.
Jurisdiction has to do with the legitimate control over life and property, over someone and their property. And
like you said, you have to violate a legal right, correct? And cause injury.
Well, no, you don't have to. The thing is, jurisdiction is not contingent on a violation of the law. It's contingent on your physical location. You don't have to be accused of violating the laws for them to insist that their laws apply to you. So you have to keep that in mind. It has nothing to do, the assertion of jurisdiction has nothing to do, generally, with being accused of violating the law. Okay? You're physically here, the laws apply. So don't.
I know from their opinion, but so too. Doesn't law agree that if there isn't what you call a corpus delicti, there has to be a injury for there to be a crime, but yet they do impose these codes that say, well, you violated this code, no, you didn't injure anyone, and no, you didn't violate a legal right.
That's true, but you're looking at a very narrow scope of jurisdiction. You have three branches of government, these criminals, and you've got the executive the legislative branch, the executive branch, and you've got the judicial branch. All three branches are claiming jurisdiction based on the exact same thing, and the legislature is passing.
Location.
Yes,
right?
Except for the feds. The feds don't care about your physical location. Their rules apply even, all over the earth. But, that's why you can get a copyright violation in New Zealand.
But it's still opinion.
Yes.
It's still an opinion now.
Yes, but we're talking about challenging their position. And I'm saying that the more effective way to do that is to just take what they're actually alleging against you and not reading anything unnecessarily into what they're alleging. They're not alleging that it's a contract. in limited circumstance, very limited.
Well, wouldn't it be like a tort, though? Isn't a tort, even though you don't have a written contract, there's an understood agreement that was violated?
No, because a tort. No, because a tort is not a tort is not contingent on a contract. So
well, that's what I'm saying. It's a basically you basically agreed, but then that was it wasn't written, but it was it was broke. There's a breach of contract, and it's a tort. But
no. A tort is not a breach of contract. A tort is a legal injury independent of a contract. So they are two separate things.
Yeah, right. So yeah, there wasn't a contract, but yet there was a violation, a breach. So that's is it legally what they are claiming then? Technically, maybe a tort, but there's no evidence. Right?
Well, you have to remember this. You have the actual charge, which is they consider a public tort is a crime. A crime, all a crime is a public tort. That's exactly how it's defined. They just took certain torts and decided the government was going to prosecute, and they could put you in jail, as opposed to a tort, which is brought by the victim, and there's usually no jail time attached to it. It's the only difference.
Okay.
So the issue of jurisdiction is different from just the basic subject matter jurisdiction, which is, let's say, in a tort or a contract dispute. Subject matter jurisdiction is based on the premise that if you're physically in, let's say, Arizona, their rules apply, and that gives the court jurisdiction over everyone in that area, or let's say the legislature. The legislature is not concerned at the time that you violated the law that they're creating. They're creating the law under the assumption it applies to everyone in a certain geographic area. So that there is more proof that they don't give a damn whether you violated it or not, as far as their assertion of jurisdiction. And I'm actually out of time, so we can only go for a little, That's the thing. We have no commercials here, so yes! But an hour still goes pretty damn fast, so we have to wrap it up here.
Okay.
All right. Well, you know what? You can always call a live broadcast, okay? And we can continue the discussion, and we'll be live. We should be live next Wednesday without the looping problem at the beginning of this show. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate the call.
I appreciate Chicago.
All right. Well, I appreciate the call, Shelby in Ohio, and we'll drop that. Hey, this has been a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing the show without any commercials. We didn't have to break up the calls. Can't take as many calls. But hey, we'll see how it goes, and maybe depending on how many callers and viewers we get, we definitely got to get more viewers before we're going to add more shows. But let everybody know that we're doing the show here live every Wednesday now at 6 Eastern Standard Time, and I can put my own bumpers in there. Let's get to Chris. That's my buddy Chris. But I guess I'll sign off. My name is Marc Stevens. This has been the first of many editions of the No State Project on live here on Wednesday. We'll be live every Wednesday from 6 to 7 Eastern Standard Time. I will upload this. This will be going to YouTube. It'll be at markstevens.net. We're stuck at 360 for right now, but that's not a big deal. It was great to be able to interact with callers during the week. And if you've got a problem, if you're being attacked by a bureaucrat, and you want to learn an effective way to defend yourself against that attack that has been successful on 3 continents, yes, EO, including Israel, then feel free to call us here either on Wednesday or during the main broadcast, which is live on LRN.FM, the Liberty Radio Network, from 4 to 7 Eastern Standard Time. That's on Saturdays. And if you're a critic, if you think I'm full of crap, if you think that I have not presented the evidence, or I got the evidence wrong, I did not analyze the situation right, or there's a gap in my logic, I'm making a logical fallacy, Hey, we're doing 4 hours of live broadcasting now. Every opportunity to call me and prove me wrong in real time. But I'm not holding my breath. So critics are welcome. We just don't seem to get them to want to come out from behind the computer screen, their YouTube comments, and actually address the issues in real time. Because, hey, if you had evidence proving your constitutional laws apply, because I was physically in Arizona, damn it, you just present the evidence. But you're still welcome to call into a live broadcast. Again, my name is Marc Stevens. This has been the first live edition of the No State Project here on it's on Ustream right now, but we'll just say at markstevens.net. And until next time,